Marcus was incredible again last night. 3 times I read in my wife's diary after my doctor called with chlamydia results. I have been faithful for 10 years. She had been documenting affairs at every business conference while I raised our kids alone. I am Thaddeus, 40M, business analyst making about $95K working for a consulting firm in Denver. Been married to my wife Evangeline 37F for 10 years, and we have 2 kids, Emma 8 and Lucas 6, until 3 weeks ago. I thought we had a solid marriage. Sure, we would hit some rough patches this year, but I figured that was normal for a decade-long relationship with 2 young kids. Evangeline works as a marketing consultant and started attending these professional development seminars about 18 months ago. At first it was maybe once every few months, but this year it ramped up to almost monthly trips. Orlando, Phoenix, San Diego, Chicago, always some conference or workshop to advance her career. I was nothing but supportive. Hell, I was proud of her for investing in herself professionally. The trip started changing her, though. She would come back energized, confident, almost like a different person. New clothes, new perfumes, talking about networking and expanding her horizons. I thought it was great. My wife was finding herself professionally and becoming more successful. I picked up the slack at home, handled bedtime routines when she was gone, managed the kids' schedules so she could focus on her career growth. But around 6 months ago, things got weird. Evangeline's mood would swing dramatically. She would be on cloud 9 after a trip, then crash into this depressive funk for weeks, distant, irritable, snapping at me and the kids over nothing. Then she would get excited about another upcoming seminar, and the cycle would repeat. I started suggesting couples therapy, thinking maybe the work-life balance was stressing her out. She would deflect, saying she just needed to find her groove with all the professional changes. I backed off, figured I would be patient and supportive while she worked through whatever was going on. Last month, everything changed when I went for my annual physical. My doctor called me 2 days later with results that made my world stop spinning. I tested positive for chlamydia. I have been faithful to Evangeline for our entire 10-year marriage. Haven't even looked at another woman seriously, let alone cheated. When I told the doctor this, his expression said everything. Mr. Patterson, this is sexually transmitted. If you haven't been with anyone else, I drove home in a daze, trying to figure out how to bring this up with Evangeline. She was in San Antonio for another 3-day seminar. Wouldn't be back until Friday. I had 2 days to process the fact that my wife had apparently cheated on me and given me an STD. Thursday night, I am putting the kids to bed and struggling to act normal. Emma keeps asking why I seem distracted, and Lucas wants to know when Mommy's calling to say goodnight, like she usually does. I tell them Mommy's busy with her conference, but inside I am falling apart trying to process what the doctor told me. After the kids are asleep, Emma comes back downstairs and asks where Mommy's trip book is because she wants to draw her a picture for when she gets home. Evangeline keeps this leather journal where she writes about her travels and experiences. It is this beautiful bound diary she has had for years, filled with her thoughts and observations from various trips. Emma loves looking at the pictures and hearing stories about Mommy's adventures when she gets back from her seminars. I go to Evangeline's nightstand to get the diary, and it falls open to a page dated 2 weeks ago. I am not trying to read it, just closing it to give to Emma, but my eyes catch a line that stops me cold. Marcus was incredible again last night, 3 times. I cannot believe how alive he makes me feel compared to the dead bedroom at home. I sit there staring at that page like my brain just short-circuited Marcus. Who the hell is Marcus, dead bedroom? We have sex regularly, or at least I thought we did. Sure, it is not as frequent as when we were newlyweds, but we are both busy parents with demanding jobs. I thought our intimacy was normal for a couple married 10 years with young kids. My hands are shaking as I am holding this diary. Part of me knows I should close it and wait to talk to Evangeline when she gets home. Part of me knows that reading someone's private thoughts without permission is a violation of trust. But the bigger part of me needs to understand what Marcus means and why my wife is writing about a dead bedroom while I am getting diagnosed with STDs. I should have closed the diary. Should have waited to talk to Evangeline. Should have done the mature, trusting husband thing. Instead, I started reading 2 years. 2 full years of documented affairs with 6 different men. Hotel rooms, conference, hookups, weekend trips that had nothing to do with business seminars. She had been living a complete double life while I raised our kids and supported her career development. Every trip I had encouraged her to take. Every late night I had handled bedtime routines alone. Every expense I had approved from our joint account. It was all funding a systematic campaign of adultery. The entries aren't just brief mentions of infidelity, they are detailed, graphic descriptions of sexual encounters with these men, how they made her feel, what they did together, how much more exciting and attractive they were than me. Page after page of my wife describing how much better these strangers were in bed than her husband of 10 years. Reading about your wife's orgasms with other men while you are sitting in the bedroom you share is a special kind of psychological torture. Marcus from Phoenix, David from Orlando, Christopher from Chicago, James from Seattle. 2 others whose names made me physically sick to read. She had been juggling multiple relationships simultaneously, sometimes seeing 2 different men in the same month while telling me she loved me and missed me when she was traveling. But here is what really destroyed me. She wasn't remorseful about any of it. She was celebrating it, writing about how free she felt, how she was finally living authentically, how she deserved to explore her sexuality after wasting her 20s being faithful. And all this time, I thought her mood swings were work stress. Turns out, she was going through relationship drama with her affair partners while I was home reading bedtime stories to our kids. The diary entry from 3 weeks ago explained everything. Marcus, apparently her longest relationship at over a year, had ended things. She was devastated, writing about how she lost the love of her life and didn't know how to go on. Meanwhile, I am making her coffee every morning and asking if she is okay, thinking she is having a rough patch at work. I read until 3 a.m., taking pictures of pages with my phone. By the time I finished, I understood that I don't know my wife at all. The woman I have been married to for 10 years has been a complete stranger for the past 2 years. Update 1, sorry for the delay updating, spent the weekend in a pretty dark headspace, and my buddy Jake took my phone away so I couldn't do anything stupid, finally feeling stable enough to write this out. When Evangeline came home Friday afternoon, I was sitting at the kitchen table with her diary closed in front of me. I had spent the entire day reading every entry from the past 2 years, taking screenshots of the worst parts. The kids were at my parents' house for the weekend, which turned out to be a blessing. She walked in with that post-seminar glow I had gotten so used to seeing, carrying a gift bag from some boutique in San Antonio. Big smile, talking about how productive the conference was, how many new contacts she had made. I just sat there watching her perform this elaborate lie while knowing she would probably spend the weekend sleeping with some random guy she met at a hotel bar. "How was your seminar?" I asked, testing to see if she would tell me anything resembling the truth. "Amazing. Really breakthrough sessions on customer psychology and brand positioning. I feel like I learned so much." She pulled out this expensive-looking scarf from the gift bag. "Got this for our anniversary next month. Thought we could do something special to celebrate." Our anniversary. She was planning to celebrate our 10-year anniversary with a gift bought on a cheating trip, probably with money from the joint account I had been contributing to while she was off living her double life. That is when something in me snapped. "Evangeline, we need to talk." I found out about the STD. Her face went white immediately, like all the color drained out in 2 seconds. But instead of confessing or apologizing, she went into full damage control mode. "What STD? What are you talking about, chlamydia?" "From my physical last week, my doctor says it is sexually transmitted, and I haven't been with anyone else in 10 years. She started this frantic explanation about how maybe it was a false positive, or maybe I got it from a dirty toilet seat, or maybe it was dormant for years, anything except admitting she had been cheating. I sat there listening to her lie to my face while I had 2 years' worth of evidence sitting right in front of us. "Evangeline," I said, putting my hand on her diary. I read it, all of it. The performance stopped immediately. Her face changed from panicked wife to something cold and calculating I had never seen before. She didn't cry, didn't apologize, didn't show any remorse. She just stared at me like she was trying to figure out her next move. "That is private," she said finally. "You had no right to read my personal thoughts." Not "I am sorry." Not "I can explain." Just anger that I had violated her privacy by discovering her affairs. "You have been cheating on me for 2 years with 6 different men, while I have been home raising our kids and supporting your career. It is not that simple, Thaddeus. You don't understand what I have been going through." That is when she launched into this speech about how she felt trapped in our marriage, how she needed to rediscover herself sexually, how the affairs were actually helping our marriage, because they made her a more confident person. She talked about personal growth and authenticity and finding her true self. Like cheating on your husband is some kind of spiritual journey. "What about Emma and Lucas?" I asked. "What about our family? This has nothing to do with them. I am a good mother. What I do in my personal life doesn't affect how I parent." Personal life. Like our marriage was just some side hobby she could compartmentalize away from her personal life of sleeping with strangers in hotel rooms. The conversation went on for 3 hours. 3 hours of her explaining why her affairs were actually justified, why I was being controlling for being upset, why reading her diary was a bigger betrayal than anything she had done. 0 accountability, 0 remorse. Just this cold, clinical defense of why she had every right to live a double life. Saturday morning, she left for work like nothing happened, told me she needed space to think and would be staying at her sister's for a few days. Packed a bag and walked out the door like she was the victim in this situation. That is when I completely lost it. I called in sick to work and spent the entire weekend reading and rereading those diary entries. Every graphic detail, every cruel comparison to me, every celebration of her betrayals. By Sunday night, I was in the darkest mental space I have ever experienced. I started thinking about how much easier it would be for everyone if I just wasn't around anymore. I was sitting in my garage at 2 a.m. with a bottle of pills and a note apologizing to Emma and Lucas when my daughter came downstairs looking for water. She saw me crying and just wrapped her little arms around me and said, "It is okay, Daddy. You are the best daddy in the world." That hug saved my life. Literally. Monday morning, I called a therapist and scheduled an emergency appointment. Started seeing Dr. Rachel Martinez, who specializes in infidelity trauma. Turns out what I was experiencing has a name: betrayal trauma, and it is a real psychological condition that can cause PTSD-like symptoms. I also started running every morning before work. Physical exercise has been crucial for managing the anxiety and depression that comes with discovering your entire marriage was a lie. Update 2: been working with my therapist, Dr. Martinez, twice a week, and she suggested I channel my investigative energy into something productive instead of just spiraling. So I did exactly that. I became a forensic analyst of my own marriage. Evangeline's been staying at her sister's house for 2 weeks now, only coming by to see the kids for dinner twice. She acts like we are just going through a rough patch that we will work through eventually. Meanwhile, I have been systematically documenting 2 years of elaborate deception that makes the diary look like child's play. Remember how I mentioned she always left her laptop open? Well, turns out her browser history is a goldmine of evidence. Dating app usage going back 22 months. Tinder, Bumble, even some site called Ashley Madison specifically for married people looking for affairs. Her profiles are still active, with photos I have never seen before, and a relationship status listed as single. Her Tinder profile description: marketing professional, love to travel, looking for adventure and connection, drama-free zone only, drama-free. While she is married with 2 kids, I found message threads with dozens of men. Not just the 6 from the diary, apparently those were just her regulars. She has been having one-night stands and brief flings constantly. Hotel meetups during lunch breaks when she claimed she was having client meetings. Weekend trips that weren't business seminars at all. Just hookup destinations. But here is what really got me. She kept spreadsheets, actual Excel files tracking her affairs like a business operation. Names, dates, locations, ratings, out of 10 for sexual performance, notes about whether she would see them again. 23 different men over 2 years, categorized by city and frequency of contact. Marcus from Phoenix, 47 encounters. Rated 9/10, noted as primary relationship. David from Orlando, 23 encounters, rated 7/10. Good for ego boost. Christopher from Chicago, 15 encounters, rated 8/10. Ended due to attachment issues. She was running a systematic operation while I thought she was advancing her career. Every business trip was a planned affair. Every networking dinner was a hookup. Every late client meeting was a hotel room rendezvous. The financial records were even worse. Joint credit card charges for lingerie I had never seen. Expensive dinners for two in cities where she claimed to be attending solo conferences. Hotel room upgrades, and spa treatments that weren't covered by any company expense account. I have been unknowingly funding her affair lifestyle for 2 years. Dr. Martinez helped me realize that documenting everything was actually helping me process the trauma in a healthy way. Having concrete evidence made it impossible for my brain to minimize what happened or blame myself for not being a good enough husband. Last Thursday, I met with attorney Alice, who specializes in divorce cases involving infidelity, brought copies of everything: diary entries, screenshots, financial records, dating app evidence. Alice looked through it all and said it was the most thoroughly documented case of systematic adultery she had seen in 15 years of practice. Mr. Patterson, your wife has been conducting an organized campaign of marital fraud. This level of premeditation and financial deception goes beyond simple infidelity. Turns out Colorado is a no-fault divorce state, so the cheating itself doesn't affect property division. But the financial fraud does. Evangeline used joint marital assets to fund her affairs, which counts as dissipation of marital property. I could potentially recover thousands of dollars she spent on her hookup lifestyle. More importantly for me, the evidence establishes a pattern of deception and poor judgment that could impact custody decisions. Alice said, "Judges don't look favorably on parents who expose children to unstable situations or maintain secret lives that require constant lying." I started therapy with the kids last week too. Dr. Martinez referred us to Dr. Marin Hayes, who specializes in helping children process parental separation. Emma and Lucas know something's wrong, but don't understand the details. They keep asking when mommy's coming home and why daddy seems sad all the time. The hardest part is maintaining normal routines while building a legal case against their mother. I make breakfast, help with homework, read bedtime stories, all while knowing their mom has been living a double life that is about to destroy our family permanently. Yesterday, Evangeline texted asking if we could talk about working things out. She wants to come to couples therapy and rebuild trust. Like 2 years of systematic betrayal with 23 different men is just a communication issue we can resolve with weekly counseling sessions. I didn't respond immediately because Dr. Martinez taught me to process my emotions before reacting. When I did text back, I just said we should focus on co-parenting arrangements. Her response: "Don't you think you are being a little dramatic? People make mistakes. I am willing to work on this. Mistakes." 23 men, over 2 years documented in spreadsheets and rated for performance, is apparently just mistakes. Final update: thanks for all the support in comments and DMs. It has been 6 weeks since I discovered Evangeline's double life, and I wanted to give you guys closure on how this nightmare has been playing out. The calendar entry I mentioned in my last update. She planned a weekend affair in Las Vegas with Marcus for my 40th birthday. My birthday. While I was thinking she was at a brand strategy intensive, she was celebrating my birthday by sleeping with her affair partner in a suite at the Bellagio. I found the hotel confirmation emails, the dinner reservations for 2, even photos she took with him that weekend. She came home Sunday night with a birthday card for me and this story about how the seminar ran long, but she kept thinking about me the whole time. Meanwhile, she had spent the weekend sleeping with another man and documenting it in her diary like it was the romantic getaway of her dreams. That is when I realized I wasn't dealing with someone who made mistakes or bad choices. I was dealing with someone who could plan elaborate betrayals around my birthday and then look me in the eye and lie about missing me. The person I married doesn't exist anymore. If she ever existed at all. Dr. Martinez helped me understand that discovering systematic deception like this creates a specific type of trauma where you start questioning everything you thought you knew about your life. She calls it reality distortion when someone's been lying so comprehensively that you cannot trust your own memories or perceptions. The therapy has been a lifeline. Learning that my emotional responses are normal for betrayal trauma has been huge for my healing. The suicidal thoughts were actually a common reaction to discovering systematic infidelity, especially when it involves deception about entire trips and financial fraud. Exercise has been just as important as therapy. I run every morning before the kids wake up, and I have started lifting weights again. Physical activity helps manage the anxiety and depression that comes with rebuilding your entire understanding of your marriage. Legally, things are moving forward. Alice filed divorce papers last week, citing irreconcilable differences, but we included all the evidence of financial dissipation. Evangeline's going to have to account for every dollar she spent on her affair lifestyle over 2 years. The custody evaluation starts next month. Dr. Hayes has been preparing the kids for the transition and documenting how they are processing the separation. She said both Emma and Lucas are resilient, but need stability and honest communication appropriate for their ages. Evangeline's been pushing for joint custody, claiming that her personal choices don't affect her parenting abilities. But Alice pointed out that maintaining elaborate deception systems and exposing the family to STDs demonstrates questionable judgment that could impact custody decisions. The most revealing thing happened 2 weeks ago when Evangeline offered to give up the affairs if I would agree to marriage counseling. Like her systematic betrayal with 23 different men was just a hobby she could quit if it was causing problems. She still doesn't understand that the lying, manipulation, and financial fraud aren't things you can just apologize away. I told her we had focus on co-parenting arrangements and nothing else. She accused me of giving up on our family and not fighting for our marriage. The cognitive dissonance is incredible. She spent 2 years destroying our marriage while I unknowingly funded it, but I am the one who is not fighting for our family. The kids are adjusting better than I expected. Emma still asks when mommy's coming home, but she has stopped asking why I seem sad all the time. Lucas has been more clingy than usual, but Dr. Hayes says that is normal for his age when family structures change. I have been honest with them in age-appropriate ways. They know mommy and daddy are having grown-up problems and might not live together anymore, but that we both love them and will always be their parents. They don't need to know about affairs and betrayal, they just need to know they are safe and loved. My parents have been incredible through all this. They are helping with childcare and providing emotional support without bad-mouthing Evangeline in front of the kids. They are furious about what she did to our family, but they understand that the kids' relationship with their mother is separate from my marriage issues. Financially, I am actually in better shape than I expected. Once Evangeline moved out, the household expenses dropped significantly. No more unexplained credit card charges. No more mysterious business dinners. No more expensive gifts that were actually affair supplies. I am saving money while building my legal case. The evidence collection is essentially complete. Alice has everything she needs for the financial dissipation claim and custody arguments. 2 years of documented systematic deception, financial fraud, and exposure of the family to health risks. Evangeline's own words and record-keeping have provided everything necessary to establish her pattern of poor judgment. I still have moments where the betrayal hits me fresh, especially when I think about specific lies or memories that were happening while she was with other men. But therapy has taught me that healing isn't linear, and having setbacks doesn't mean I am not making progress. The biggest change is that I have stopped trying to understand why Evangeline did this or what I could have done differently. Dr. Martinez helped me realize that when someone can maintain a double life for 2 years without remorse, you are not dealing with relationship problems. You are dealing with character issues that therapy cannot fix. My focus now is protecting Emma and Lucas while building a stable life as a single father. They deserve better than growing up in a house built on lies and systematic deception. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your kids is show them that actions have consequences, and that they deserve relationships based on honesty and respect. The divorce should be finalized in about 4 months. After that, Emma, Lucas, and I are going to start building the life we deserve, one based on truth, stability, and genuine love instead of elaborate lies and systematic betrayal. Men, I learned that when someone can live a complete double life without remorse, you are not dealing with the person you married anymore. My daughter's hug reminded me that my kids need their father alive and fighting for them. Sometimes survival isn't about saving the marriage, it is about protecting the innocent victims and building something better from the wreckage. Edit. Many of you have asked about the chlamydia situation. Yes, I've been seeing my doctor and taking my prescribed medication regularly. The doctor said I was lucky to catch it early, and my health has stabilized. My latest test came back negative, but I'll still go for follow-up checkups. As for my ex-wife, well, if she's still determined to live that kind of lifestyle, Then I guess you know what I mean. Lol.